If you're working long hours, sitting at a desk all day, trying to eat better, maybe even exercising, but your belly fat just won't go away, this video is for you, because the real reason you're not losing fat might not be food or workouts at all. It could be stress, and more specifically, a hormone called cortisol that's silently blocking your fat loss every single day. Think about a typical office day. You wake up already checking emails. You rush through breakfast or skip it completely. Traffic, deadlines, meetings, screens, coffee after coffee. By the time you get home, you're exhausted, mentally drained, and craving something comforting. And even though you feel tired, your body is actually stuck in a constant alert mode. This is where the problem begins. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, but that's not the full story. Cortisol is not bad by default. In fact, it's essential for survival. Thousands of years ago, cortisol helped humans react quickly to danger. If a threat appeared, cortisol would raise blood sugar, increase focus, and give the body instant energy to fight or run. But once the danger passed, cortisol levels dropped back to normal. The issue is that your body hasn't evolved as fast as modern office life. Today, the threat isn't a wild animal. It's emails, deadlines, performance pressure, job insecurity, long commutes, lack of sleep, and constant mental stimulation. Your brain reacts to these stresses the same way it would react to physical danger. So cortisol stays elevated for hours, sometimes all day. Now, here's where fat loss gets sabotaged. When cortisol stays high, your body believes it's under constant threat. And when the body feels threatened, fat loss becomes a low priority. Survival comes first. Cortisol tells your body to hold onto energy, not burn it. This is especially true for belly fat. High cortisol increases blood sugar levels. When blood sugar rises frequently, insulin also rises. And when insulin stays high, fat burning shuts down. Your body goes into storage mode, especially around the abdomen. That's why stress-related weight gain almost always shows up as stubborn belly fat. This is why many office workers experience something confusing. They eat roughly the same, they might even eat less. They go to the gym a few times a week. But instead of getting leaner, their midsection stays soft or even grows. It feels unfair, and it is frustrating. But it's not because they're lazy or undisciplined. It's because their hormonal environment is working against them. Let's talk about sleep, because this is where stress and cortisol really team up. Most office workers don't sleep enough. Either they stay up late scrolling, watching shows, or their mind simply won't switch off. Poor sleep raises cortisol the next day. Even one night of bad sleep can increase cortisol levels significantly. When this becomes a habit, cortisol stays chronically high. This combination is perfect for weight gain and terrible for fat loss. And here's something most people don't realize. Intense workouts, when combined with high stress and poor recovery, can actually make things worse. And then you push yourself through very intense workouts every day. Your body may interpret exercise as another stressor. This can push cortisol even higher. Instead of helping fat loss, it can stall it. Another hidden contributor is constant stimulation. Notifications, messages, meetings, news, social media. Your nervous system never truly relaxes. Your brain stays in a low-level fight-or-flight mode all day. Cortisol remains elevated even when you're sitting still. And here's the most important part. You cannot out-diet or out-exercise chronic stress. You could follow the perfect meal plan. You could count every calorie. You could train consistently. This is why two people can eat the same diet and follow the same workout plan, yet have completely different results. One has a calmer nervous system, better sleep, and lower baseline stress. The other is overwhelmed, underslept, and mentally exhausted. Their hormones are not playing the same game. So, what does this mean for you as an office worker? It means that fat loss doesn't start in the kitchen or the gym. It starts with calming the nervous system. It starts with sending your body a signal that it is safe, supported, and no longer under constant threat. Once cortisol comes down, everything else becomes easier. Blood sugar stabilizes. Insulin sensitivity improves. Cravings reduce. Fat burning can finally switch back on. In the next part, we'll break down the most common daily habits that keep cortisol high in office workers, including some that seem healthy on the surface, and then we'll talk about simple, realistic ways to lower cortisol without quitting your job or changing your entire life. Let's start with the habits that keep cortisol high, because most office workers don't realize they're doing these every single day. The first one is constant caffeine. Coffee itself isn't the enemy, but timing and quantity matter a lot. Many people wake up already stressed, maybe after poor sleep, and the first thing they do is flood their system with caffeine. Caffeine stimulates the nervous system and increases cortisol, especially in the morning when cortisol is already naturally high. Then there's the afternoon coffee to fight the energy crash, and sometimes even a third cup to stay productive. By the end of the day, the nervous system has never truly calmed down. This leads to another issue: shallow, poor quality sleep. Even if you fall asleep, your body doesn't fully recover. The next morning, cortisol starts high again, and the cycle repeats. The second habit is skipping meals or undereating while stressed. This is extremely common in office environments. Your busy meetings run long, lunch gets delayed or skipped, and you rely on snacks later. From the body's perspective, this feels like scarcity. Stress plus lack of fuel is interpreted as danger. Cortisol rises even more to keep blood sugar stable, fat burning shuts down, and when you finally eat, the body is more likely to store energy instead of using it. This is why many stressed office workers feel stuck between two extremes. Either they're not hungry all day and then ravenous at night, or they feel constantly hungry despite eating healthy. Both patterns are linked to cortisol imbalance. The third habit is sitting all day without movement. Long periods of sitting reduce blood flow, increase muscle tension, and send subtle stress signals to the body. Movement isn't just about burning calories. Gentle movement lowers cortisol. When you stay completely still for hours, the body remains tense. This is why a short walk can feel more refreshing than another coffee. The fourth habit is intense exercise done at the wrong time. High-intensity workouts are powerful tools, but in a highly stressed body, they can act like pouring fuel on a fire. If you're doing very hard workouts late in the evening, especially after a stressful day, cortisol stays elevated when it should be dropping. This makes it harder to wind down, sleep deeply, and recover. This doesn't mean you should stop training. It means you should match your training to your stress level. Now, let us talk about what actually helps lower cortisol and unlock fat loss in a realistic way for office workers. The third tool is daily low-intensity movement. Walking is one of the most underrated fat loss tools for stressed people. It lowers cortisol, improves insulin sensitivity, and doesn't add extra stress to the system. A 10 to 20-minute walk during lunch or after work can make a noticeable difference over time. The fourth tool is breathing and mental decompression. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Slow, deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state. Even 5 minutes of controlled breathing can reduce cortisol levels. This isn't about meditation perfection. It's about giving your nervous system short breaks from constant alertness. Another important shift is changing how you view productivity. Many office workers push themselves non-stop, believing that rest is laziness. But biologically, rest is not optional. Without recovery, stress accumulates, fat loss becomes harder. Health declines quietly. Here's something important to understand. Your body doesn't care about deadlines, targets, or emails. It only responds to signals. And right now, many office workers are sending the signal that life is constantly dangerous. When you change those signals through sleep, movement, nourishment, and mental breaks, your hormones begin to shift. And when hormones shift, fat loss stops being a battle. In the final part, we connect all of this into a simple daily framework for office workers, a way to structure your day so cortisol stays under control and fat loss can finally happen without extreme dieting or exhausting workouts. This is where everything comes together into a realistic daily approach, not a perfect routine, but a sustainable one that works with office life instead of against it. Start with the morning. The goal in the first hour of your day is to avoid spiking cortisol unnecessarily. If you wake up and immediately check emails or social media, your brain enters stress mode before your body is even fully awake. Instead, give yourself a short buffer. Light movement, natural light, and calm breathing tell your nervous system that the day is manageable. If you drink coffee, delay it slightly. This allows your natural cortisol rhythm to settle instead of being forced higher. Pair caffeine with food rather than drinking it on an empty stomach. This alone can reduce anxiety and energy crashes later in the day. At lunch, eat enough. This is critical. A meal with protein, complex carbohydrates, and fats sends a powerful safety signal to the body. It tells your system that resources are available. When the body feels supported, it doesn't cling to fat as aggressively. In the afternoon, instead of reaching for more caffeine, try movement or hydration first. Often the crash is not a lack of stimulation but accumulated stress. Gentle movement restores energy without raising cortisol further. When it comes to exercise, choose what your body can recover from. Strength training 2 to 3 times per week is ideal for fat loss, but it doesn't need to be extreme. Short, effective sessions build muscle and improve metabolism without overwhelming the nervous system. On other days, walking, mobility work, or light cardio supports recovery and hormonal balance. Evenings are about downshifting. Bright screens, intense conversations, and mentally demanding tasks keep cortisol elevated when it should be falling. Creating a simple wind-down routine, dimmer lights, slower activities, fewer notifications, helps your body switch into recovery mode. And finally, sleep. Sleep is not just rest. It is the time when cortisol resets, hunger hormones balance, and fat-burning processes recover. Improving sleep quality is one of the fastest ways to improve fat loss without changing anything else. Here's the most important takeaway. Fat loss is not about forcing your body to comply. It's about creating an internal environment where fat loss feels safe. For office workers, stress is often the missing piece. When you address stress and cortisol, your body stops fighting you. You don't need more discipline. You need better signals. When those signals change, fat loss becomes a natural outcome instead of a constant struggle. And once your body is no longer in survival mode, you'll notice something else too. Better energy, improved focus, fewer cravings, and a calmer relationship with food and exercise. That's when health truly starts to feel sustainable. If you've been blaming yourself for slow progress, it's time to stop. Your body isn't broken. It's responding exactly the way it was designed to, protecting you during perceived stress. For office workers, fat loss isn't about doing more. It's about doing things differently. When you reduce stress, support sleep, fuel your body properly, and train in a way you can recover from, cortisol comes down. And when cortisol comes down, fat loss finally becomes possible, especially stubborn belly fat. So instead of asking, "Why am I not losing weight?" start asking, "What signals am I sending my body every day?" Because the moment your body feels safe, supported, and no longer under constant pressure, it stops holding onto fat. Small changes done consistently can completely shift your hormones, your energy, and your results. If this helped you understand your body better, take that as a sign you're on the right path. And remember, sustainable fat loss doesn't come from punishment. It comes from balance.